Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. Ultimately, women decide what they like in a man. Because, one thing I've been seeing, too many men trying to tell another man how they should look or whatever. Because even when I discuss body game, I say your best body. Or even your style, your best style and everything. But you have to determine that for yourself because different women like different things. And the thing that inspired this video was this female college basketball player and her boyfriend who's an NBA player. I don't even remember his name, and I ain't gonna call her name. I ain't gonna start anything. It's more the lesson than focusing on the people themselves. Cause dude was, he was balding. He was balding, and it was a picture of them. It was somewhere. I think it was on IG, and more guys. Instead of just saying great couple or just really not saying anything, more concerned about his hair. And I'm like, for what? She don't give a fuck. She with the motherfucker. Shit. She with the motherfucker. She don't have a problem with it. If she did, she'll tell him. But, more guys seemingly were getting y'all into it and everything. And I'm like, man, that's some sus stuff. That's seriously, what the fuck? She the one who's taking the motherfucker's dick. She the one interested in him. It's kind of like, y'all remember when I had that stroke, I had lost all that weight. And I had so many guys like talking about, oh yeah, looking great, uncle, looking great. My ass couldn't eat anything. I wasn't feeling great. Yet some women, they were like, nah, we prefer you with some weight on you. We prefer you with some weight on you. Now, which one am I going to listen to? First of all, I wasn't comfortable. Period, losing that much weight. 2, women didn't have a problem with it. So which one you think I'm going to listen to? See, one of the problems we got out here is too much sus shit. And I'm just gonna call it for what it is. It's some suspect ass shit. Some guys worried about another man and how they look instead of saying, you know what, he looked the way he looked. Because one thing I found with women, yeah, in general you could say, yeah, you need to keep yourself a certain way. I could say that in general, but each man is gonna be different. Like, I've known some rough-looking motherfuckers who were tearing up some women because women like that. But then some clean-cut motherfuckers tearing up some women because women like that. But what do I always say about women? Women like who they like. Women like who they like. Different women going to like different things. You don't worry about it. You don't worry about another man. If that other man, regardless of his size, his style, whatever, if he getting pussy and he happy with what the pussy he getting, you don't worry about it as a man. You don't try to tell him. Because if, it's like I'll say if somebody say anything about me. Is your vagina twitching? If it ain't, don't worry about it. What you worry about it for? Because you get some guys trying to talk about, well, you don't look like all this, or trying to talk some shit. It's like, man, that's some straight up faggot ass shit. Don't worry about it. All you worry about as a man is yourself. All you worry about is putting yourself together, putting your style together, and seeing which women like that. Because one thing with women, they don't like the same type of men. And I've said that 1,000 times. Different women like different types of guys. They like different types of bodies. I said it 1,000 times. I'll probably say it 1,000 more. Because the thing is, you get too many guys, they worried about what another guy's saying. Like, I've called bullshit on, guys going to asking another man how they look and what they should do. You don't know. Seriously. You got women out there, they don't like six-pack abs. Some women like a little bit on a man. I've met women, some fine-ass women like a little bit on a man. But then again, there's some other women who didn't. I already told you, I had a good-ass friend. Woman, she was fine as shit. But I was I was smaller than I am now, and I still had too much weight on me. But the man she got with was this slim-ass dude, like stick thin. That's what she liked. And what every man has to do is really figure out what's best for him, what works for him. Like, every man ain't gonna be some big brolic dude, and that's okay. And every man ain't gonna be some lean ass dude, and that's okay. Yeah, and I gotta get something out the cleaners and stuff. There's always something I gotta do. Always something I gotta do. Y'all know the deal. It'll be like 5 minutes for me, a second for y'all. But we're gonna get back into what we're talking about, alright? Hold up, I'll be back in a second for me. 5 minutes for me, a second for y'all, alright? Alright, y'all, I'm back. That wasn't 5 minutes, that was only 2 minutes for me. They weren't crowded in there, But, it's different things, because, it's the bottom line. Different women like different things. That's why I emphasize the whole tribe concept. You got to figure out which women like what you have to present. And that's going to be on different levels. That's going to be on a class level. That's going to be on a physical level, class level, environment level, racial level, everything. And, I don't care who the man is, he ain't going to get every woman. He ain't going to get every woman. And every woman ain't going to like it. Like, I use an example with myself, right? Because, every now and then I get somebody come on here. Somebody's like, hey, Ron, you got shave. And they coming at me hard. And I'm like, but I'm thinking about this woman I dealt with years ago. And I was looking, I ain't going to lie. Beard was rough. Hair was all out. She was going crazy. Now, I remember when I shaved all that. She was like, she was scrunching her face and shit. She didn't like it. But she wanted that more rougher look. That's what she liked. Now, another woman will probably want more clean shaven. It is what it is. You got to see one thing every man has to do. You have to do, basically two things. First, you got to figure out what's getting you the most women, what looks best for you, and then the women that you like. All right? You can't go by, first of all, you can't go by another man. Now, I can throw some stuff out there, but, even when I say let the barber bless you, right? Let the barber bless you, but see, that's different cuts. Because you go in a barber shop, they cut men's hair differently. One man, he might could get away with just having, maybe just a low cut. Another man might have his hair all wild and everything. Like right now, you got the NCAA tournament and everything, and the players be having different cuts. But see, that's what works for them. You got some guys, they got those locks and everything. You know, some other players, they just got that got that bush, that nappy bush and everything. Some other players, they got that real low cut. I haven't seen waves in a long time, but see, that might work for somebody. Now, if that's their cut, that's what they like, and then, not only what they like, but if they're getting women with it, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. See, don't get caught up into... See, a man shouldn't be worried about what another man is wearing. He just got to worry about his style. And you know what? I remember years ago, and this was decades ago, a dude said this. This was decades ago, back in the 90s. Back in the 90s. Like, you got people born in the 90s, they in their 30s now. So this has been a case. Because he was like, guys don't have their own style anymore. Everybody got to have their own style, their own way of doing shit. Their own way of doing it, because somebody will like it. I remember a pair of shoes I wore one time. And this young lady I was working with, she was like, it'd be a long time before you get married. But then the woman I ended up marrying happened to like the shoes. So, you got to think about it all the way around and everything. See, the only thing I would say, just be clean. Just be, hygienic. I would say that overall. But even then, there's some women that like a dirty ass, dusty ass motherfucker. Ain't a lot of them, but you know what? You never know. Because, one thing with women, it depends on what turns them on sexually. And you know what? That's something I'm talking about on my Patreon later this week. You just never know. You just never know. But every man has to just find out what works for him. What specifically works for him. You got to figure out, okay, what are you getting the most attention from? Which style, For some guys, it got to be a beard. Some guys may be clean shaven. Some guys may be just a little stubble. The haircut. Maybe some guys got to have that big old bush. Some guys got to have that little more short, close cut. And even when you think it's a trend, you got to think, does this trend work for you? Does this trend work for you? Because I know with... I saw a clip, a woman was talking about men who were bald, bearded, and buffed. Okay, that's fine, but what if a man can't be buffed? What if he more on the slim side? Or more, what if he can't really grow out a beard like that? Right? And what if he got, just naturally long hair? Like, I know some dudes, shoot, their hair is just hanging down. The style of hair, grade of hair, and everything, it's just good and long. So why should they cut that bald? You just don't go with the trends. You gotta go what works for you, what your style is. And every man's gonna have a different style. Don't worry about what some other man say, because ultimately, if another man say, well, you need to do this or that, ultimately they talking for themselves. That's why even for body game, now, when I first started talking about body game, I was talking about muscles. But then, what did I do? I started looking at that, because I'm growing too. I said, whatever works for you. Whatever works. Because some women, they don't like muscles. Some women do. You got plenty of guys saying, well, women don't like this or that. Well, hold up. It depends on the woman. Some women like, big muscular dudes. Some women like a slimmer dude, a leaner dude. Like I said with me, when I had lost a lot of weight and stuff, a bunch of guys were going crazy, which was sus to me. But Women were like, nah, Ron, you got to put on some weight. You need a cheeseburger? You need me to bring some food by? Shit. And there was nothing wrong with that, indeed. There was nothing wrong with that. You know, you got to go with what works for you. What works for you. Not what works for everybody else, what works for you. And you got to be careful. And you got to be careful asking another man, you know. It depends on what you're doing. You know, it depends on what you're doing. If, you know, you don't want to ask like a man how a woman is going to see. Now, yeah, you do got some image consultants out there, and they can give you some general stuff. But even then, it's still, ultimately, you got to decide for yourself what you're going to wear, what you comfortable with, what your style is. And then, is it working for you? Because everybody, you know, seriously, when you talk about anything, like style of pants, like my youngest son, he does not like jogger pants. He does not like jogger pants. He will not wear jogger pants. He will not wear them. When he look at pants, because he just got himself some this weekend, was, you know, out rolling with him. And he was looking at some pants. And if they had, like, if they were jogger style, anything like that, he didn't want to mess with them. Only type of pants he'll mess with, they got to be open around the bottom. He like that style. He does not like jogger pants. Contrast that with my older son. He loved jogger pants. That dude loves some jogger pants, and they got to be tall for him, but that's his style. Also, his style is, like my oldest son, his style, his haircut, he always like it close and everything. That's him. That's him personally. Close. He don't like a bunch of crazy stuff. Okay, that's him. But then my youngest son, I mean, the barber better not touch the top of his head. I got to convince him sometimes. Like, you know, let the barber, like, take just a little bit off. And that's usually a fight right there, but that's his style, though. And every man, they both get what they get. They both get their cut depending on the style. And when I say their cut, the type of women who pay attention to. But they different body builds, too. They different body builds. Like my oldest son is tall and slim. Youngest son, he dropped some weight, but he's still more closer to stocky. Right? But that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, every man got to be sovereign in their style. Every man got to try what's up. And yeah, you're going to get some dudes hating on you, but hold up. For what? Is that dude paying you? Is that dude a woman? Because let's be real. Let's be real on something, right? Hold on. I'm about to get deep on some stuff here. But I gotta stop off and drop off something real quick. Yeah. That should be. I gotta just drop off something. So, once again, it'll be a couple minutes for me. Maybe a few seconds for y'all. Alright? A second for y'all, okay? Hey, Ron got stuff to do, man. Ron got stuff to do. Shoot. I got stuff to do. Wait, I'll be back in a second. Alright. Like I said, 5 minutes for me. Well, a little bit longer. And 1 second for y'all. But anyway, look, why don't we just get off the whole bullshit, okay? And maybe I'll get into it. Reason why I'm about to back into a car back there. Reason why we get into style, wearing our hair a certain way, wearing our hair a certain way, wearing clothes a certain way. Let's just be honest. Fuck all the bullshit. We doing it because we want that booty for lust, okay? Fuck all the bullshit. Seriously. We gotta stop being honest. You get guys talking about, well, we should just do it for ourselves. Man, stop lying. Because if you on this particular channel, you trying to get some. Shit, that's the biggest thing. I remember I saw something a few days ago talking about business, anything like different businesses, different areas that will always make money. The number one thing was men's lust. Let's be real. If it wasn't about getting the booty, if it wasn't about getting a woman, men wouldn't care about style. Men wouldn't care about a lot of things. Shit. According to Napoleon Hill in his landmark book, Think and Grow Rich, that's the shit. Getting women is the thing that motivates men. But let's be real. Men be getting that fly haircut, letting that beard grow out, getting whatever style if they want to get women. Seriously. Be letting the barber bless them for women. Seriously. Wearing certain shoes for women. There ain't nothing wrong with that. It means your goddamn dick works. Then we gotta stop being honest about that. And a lot of guys, they getting what they get, whatever works. If they look like a goddamn roughneck, but it's getting their dick sucked, that's all they give. They don't go and give a fuck. Alright? Fuck all that other bullshit. Everybody's shit. Heck, that's probably affecting the economy now because guys ain't buying stuff because they ain't getting none. But if a guy know if he wears a certain pair of shoes, he wears a certain type of pants, shirts, polos, whatever, t-shirt, whatever, have his hair cut a certain way, wear a certain style of glasses, he know he getting some. Shit. Fuck all the, like I said, fuck all the bullshit. Fuck all the bullshit. A man got to figure out now, if it ain't working for him, whatever style he got ain't getting him no booty, he'll figure that out some way or the other. Unless he just absolutely don't want to get none. Either A, he's asexual or homosexual. And even then, unless he's just, even if he's homosexual, he gotta have that style. Shit. He gotta look a certain way. No matter what he is. Let's just be real. Fuck all the bullshit. Fuck all dudes be trying to act like, oh, they ain't important. Man, stop lying. It's like this dude I knew and stuff, man. This woman rejected him. And he's like, I ain't gonna mess with women anymore. That dude was married in 6 months to another woman. A woman who had children and shit. Let's just be real. That lust will take a man a long way. Men going to get whatever they going to get. They going to get whatever style. Shoot. Let's be real. Body game. I can talk about all the other angles of body game, and some guys can come on and talk about health. You get into body game because, some women like those muscles. Come on now. They like those arms. They like that chest. Or chestises. Shit. You know that shit. Stop fucking around. A guy gonna have whatever style work for him. If he know he get his dick sucked and his beard be down to his damn chest, well, shit, he probably never cut that shit. Shit. That man know that shit. He ain't gonna change up for whatever reason. For whatever reason. He ain't changing up. He gonna do what he do because it works. Stop playing around. So look, use some common sense out this belly. Figure out what style, what appearance works for you. And yeah, women care about that. They trust me. They're looking at everything from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. They ain't looking at your feet. Trust me. You don't believe me? Find an old pair of shoes and wear it out. And trust me, women will look at it real quick. Shit, some women have told me they'll look at your shoes first. Come on now. That's why some dudes be like, shoot. I haven't heard about it as much recently, but get some dudes robbing somebody for their damn shoes. You know, they ain't robbing it. They ain't robbing them for their shoes because the shoes feel good or whatever. They doing it to get them some. They doing it for lust. And just all you have to do as any man is figure out what works for you. That's it. You got to figure out what works for you. What works for you. What style works for you. And you can't worry about another man. Another man can get, if he's a professional, he's a style consultant or something like that, he might can tell you something, but ultimately, you got to figure out what works for you. And different shit is going to work for different men. That was the po-po right there. I couldn't speed up though. Yeah. You know, I do these car videos. You know I gotta say po-po at some point. Shit, like I said, we don't have that much crime around here, so they don't got nothing better to do with their time but to get people for tickets. They be bored otherwise. But anyway, yeah, come on now. Let's be real on it. Dudes be getting it whatever haircut because they work, or whatever body build, whatever clothes they wear, style of clothes, colognes they wear, to get the booty. There ain't nothing wrong with that. It means your damn dick works. And ultimately, that's all that counts. That's all that counts. So, you know, as a man, you figure it out. You figure it out. And don't worry about that other man. Don't worry about that next man. And don't be that type jump on that man for a style. If it's getting his dick sucked, unless you right there and you know for sure what's happening with him, shut the fuck up. Don't worry about it. As long as they work for him. And like I said with women, you don't know what turns on a particular woman or a group of women. Because they got their, like, preferences and styles and whatever the fuck they want to do. Alright? So, anyway. Alright. I finally made it to the store. Go ahead and get me some vittles. That's food for some of y'all who don't know about the Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah. And, you know, some dudes be like tripping and shit. Anyway, I'm going ahead and get my thing. And back this joint up. Alright, but anyway, right? Yeah. Ultimately, don't worry about another man. Ultimately, every man needs to just worry about himself. Alright? So, let me turn this joint off. Just worry about yourself. Worry about what you're doing, all right? So anyway, I'll get back with y'all. Had to do a car video. You know these a little long, but you know how I deal with them. You know I got to just go with the flow. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace and blessings.